Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to imagine just for a second that right now, quietly flowing through your veins is something that hospitals absolutely desperately need. We kind of take our own biology for granted, right? But the truth is, your body is churning out this highly specialized resource every single second. Today, we're going to map out the incredible biological ecosystem of the 8 major blood types. We're going to discover what makes each one unique and how they interact in ways most of us literally never even realize.
So consider this pretty heavy reality for a second. This vital substance pumping through you right now, it actually has the power to save a complete stranger's life today. It is basically the ultimate biological currency. But as you probably know, it's not just a free-for-all. This incredibly complex system has some super strict rules of compatibility. It determines exactly who can donate to whom can receive from whom, and in those really critical moments, who ultimately survives.
But here is the really fascinating paradox. Despite its immense importance in medical emergencies, most of us have absolutely no idea what our blood type actually means. Sure, we might know the letter, maybe if we're positive or negative, but we don't really know the story behind it, you know? We don't understand what our specific type means regarding its global rarity or the invisible, just relentless demand for it in hospitals worldwide. Well, today, we are going to decode exactly what your blood type says about your role in this ecosystem.
All right, let's kick things off with one of the most common types on Earth, A positive. If you have this blood type, your red blood cells carry what's called the A antigen. Now, think of antigens like tiny little biological ID badges on the surface of your cells. Plus, you've got the Rh positive factor. Because it's carried by millions of people, you might think being common sounds, well, kind of boring. But here's the reality. The more common the blood type, the more patients there are who need it. That means the demand literally never stops. Honestly, if blood types had jobs, A positive would be the exhausted employee working overtime every single day just to keep the whole system running.
Yet what's super interesting is what happens when we just take away that R factor. Suddenly, things get a whole lot rarer. Welcome to A negative. Only a tiny percentage of people carry this specific blood type. And because A negative blood can actually be used a bit more flexibly than its positive counterpart, blood banks value it highly. It essentially acts as a bridge, filling in the gaps in the supply chain when other specific types just aren't available.
So the crucial point here is that this tiny biological difference, literally just the absence of that Rh factor, creates a massive medical impact, especially during pregnancy. Basically, if an Rh-negative mother is carrying an Rh-positive baby, her immune system can sometimes get a little confused and actually treat the baby's blood cells as a foreign threat. But fortunately, modern medicine has completely revolutionized this whole process. Doctors pay super close attention to Rh-negative blood because, thanks to some very simple treatments we have today, they can easily and safely solve this biological misunderstanding. Okay, moving on. The story shifts completely when we look at B positive. Its global distribution isn't just random, it actually tells a really profound story of human history. In some countries, B positive is incredibly uncommon, while in others, it's surprisingly prevalent. Your ancient ancestors and their migration patterns across the globe directly help determine exactly where this blood type spread, and on a biological level, it operates like one of the strictest security systems on Earth.
Let's break down the biology of that extreme selectivity for a second. If you're B positive instead of the A antigen, your body carries the B antigen. Your blood might look perfectly peaceful, but man, if the wrong blood type enters your body, your immune system reacts immediately and aggressively to reject it. It is constantly on patrol, basically making absolutely sure that only the exact right biological match is allowed inside the gates.
Now I want you to imagine taking that already uncommon B blood type and making it even rarer. That is B negative. Making up less than 2% of the global population, a lot of people with this blood type will go their entire lives without ever meeting another person who shares it. Crazy, right? Because there are so few donors out there, blood banks have to meticulously monitor their supplies. If you have B negative blood, the reality isn't about fame or prestige. It's an invisible responsibility. Because somewhere down the line, a total stranger might desperately need the exact rare blood running through your veins.
Let's move on and see how this builds into what we can really only call the VIP section of the blood world. AB positive, the universal recipient. People with AB positive blood have remarkably accepting immune systems. They can safely receive red blood cells from nearly every single other blood type on Earth. I mean, having the ultimate biological safety net sounds pretty amazing, and honestly, it really is.
But of course, there is a fascinating biological trade-off. Every advantage in nature comes with a catch, right? While the AB-positive immune system is incredibly welcoming to incoming blood, it is absolutely not very shareable in return. AB-positive blood can be donated to very, very few people. It's this striking paradox of being universally accepting but highly exclusive when it's time to actually give back. And then we have AB negative. This blood type takes that same complexity and combines it with extreme rarity. It is literally one of the rarest blood types on Earth. So rare, in fact, that hospitals often have very few matching donors available on standby. Now, people often think having a rare blood type sounds exciting, kind of unique. But actually scratch that. That novelty stops sounding fun the very second you're a patient in desperate need of a transfusion. In those moments, rarity is a terrifying challenge. Every single donation of AB negative truly, truly matters.
Now, while those rare types face constant shortages, the most common blood type on the planet acts as the absolute workhorse, O positive. Millions upon millions of people carry it right now. Because O positive can be safely donated to most other positive blood types, hospitals use it constantly. When natural disasters hit, or when blood demand suddenly spikes for any reason, O positive is usually the very first choice pulled from the shelves. It is, without a doubt, the reliable, sturdy backbone of the entire global blood supply system.
And that finally brings us to the legend, O negative, the universal donor. If blood types were superheroes, O negative would be the one crashing through the ceiling, arriving first on the scene when disaster strikes. It is the ultimate biological skeleton key.
Hospitals rely on this legendary blood type in the absolute most dire circumstances. When a trauma patient is rushed through the doors and doctors just do not have time to test their blood type, when every single second matters, when a life is literally hanging in the balance, O negative is the blood they reach for. Because it can be safely given to almost anyone. It saves countless lives every single year. The tragic problem, though? Very few people actually have it. Hospitals are in a perpetual, desperate search for O-negative donors just to keep their emergency rooms prepared.
And this brilliantly illustrates how all these tiny biological labels perfectly interact with each other. Just look at this ecosystem. From O-negative, the universal donor ready for any emergency, to AB-positive, the universal recipient. From O-positive, acting as that reliable backbone, to A-positive, the exhausted employee keeping the daily operations afloat. The letters A, B, AB, O, and those positive and negative signs, they aren't just medical jargon. They dictate an intricate, life-saving web that determines who survives when the worst happens.
Let's zoom out to your own biology for just a moment. 7,000. That is the number of liters your heart is effortlessly pumping through your body every single day. Most of the time you don't even think about it, right? But somewhere in the world, right now, someone is lying in a hospital bed, desperately waiting for just a tiny fraction of that exact resource to save their life.
Which leads us to this final thought. Your blood type isn't a personality trait. It isn't a horoscope, and it isn't just some label on a medical chart. As this quote beautifully puts it, it is a literal biological connection between you and millions of strangers you will never even meet. Whether you're the exhausted employee, the strict security system, or the emergency superhero, you are a crucial part of this ecosystem. And it leaves you with one really important question to ask yourself today. When the moment